We helped this e-commerce brand generate an extra $320,000 in sales in just 1 month from email marketing. In this video, I'm gonna show you the exact strategy we used so that you can copy and steal it for your e-commerce brand. Let's get right into it. As you can see, it was in the month of May, so pretty fresh case study. In general, this brand has made almost 700k in sales. Obviously, you can see that the percentage growth is a little bit down, but that's mainly because they trimmed at the ad spend. So even though the revenue is down just a little bit, it's not down by a lot. The profitability is pretty good for them, just because less ad spend, pretty much same revenue, so the profit goes up. Like, that's as simple as that. And as you can see from the screenshot, we made them 320k in sales in just 1 month in May, which was roughly 46% of total revenue that was coming from email, and that's almost 50% growth month over month. As I said here, it was our second month with this brand, so it's not like we set up everything 1 month and then we got them results like that straight away. It was our second month with them. In previous one, in April, we were setting up everything. And also, if you want to check out the entire strategy that we use to implement everything for them, you can check out the video that is gonna pop up somewhere on the screen. Once again, in like 2 months, we made them over 500k from email, so April was pretty decent as well, but May was very optimized. And in this video, I'm gonna just mainly cover how we optimized it and took them from having no email at all 2 months ago to setting it up in April, which is another video which you can watch. And this one's gonna be about scaling and improving things across the board. So in this video, I'm gonna focus on high-level stuff, as I said. That's gonna show you how we managed to improve our results by 50% month over month. And I'm just gonna divide it into 2 sections. First one's gonna be flows. Second one is gonna be campaigns. Starting off with the flows, as you probably saw in the screenshot, they have driven the majority of the revenue. Over 65% of email revenue came from flows. So once again, they have made like 200k in 1 month campaigns, roughly 113k. But yeah, for flows, these are the metrics. As you can see, not many recipients, but this is mainly because this is high AOV brand, so our revenue per recipient was also pretty high, almost $4 per recipient, which is pretty decent. These metrics are looking very healthy, to be honest. Open rate is pretty okay. Usually we aim for at least 40 to 45% open rate for flows. Click rate, I will not talk about it because it was inflated in May. Klaviyo had some issues with Outlook and Hotmail, where essentially every single email that was opened or sent to Hotmail and Outlook, they were counting it as open or end clicked, which you can see it changed there. Because previously click rate was still decent, but towards the end of the month it was showing like almost 15%, which is not true. Like, we also told the client like, hey, something is wrong. Now we need to ignore these metrics, just focus on opens and conversions, since these can't be inflated. I mean, opens can be inflated, but conversions can't. So improvement strategy for flows was honestly just doubling down on what worked well. We didn't try to implement this one secret flow that maybe will make us an extra 5k in revenue, which in general 5k isn't bad, but I mean, for this scale, it wouldn't really change much. It wouldn't be like huge game changer. So we just stick to basics and once again double down on what worked well. So first step was just adding more emails to winning flows. We took 2 performing campaigns that we sent in April and also some of them in May for specific segments and add them wherever they made sense. This way we already knew that they would do well. Let me just quickly clarify what I mean by adding them where they make sense. So if we send a campaign that was cross-selling or upselling to existing customers, it performed well, and then we added it to customer thank you flow. It wouldn't really make sense to add it to welcome flow, since the target audience is a little bit different. So whenever we had a good cross-sell or upsell campaign that has done well, which was sent only to buyers, we're just adding it to customer thank you flow. And whenever we had a campaign that has done very well, but which was targeted towards non-buyers, then we're adding it to our welcome flow, since we know that if this singular campaign has done well, it has generated sales and took non-buyers from not being customers to being first-time customers, then there's no reason why it shouldn't work for the welcome flow as well. That's why we've done this, and honestly it works very well, and I recommend doing it in general, because if you see something working well, why not add it to your flow and send it on autopilot to new people essentially. Then we have added more post-purchase flows, and that's mainly because this brand's top flow was actually customer thank you flow. It is very rare that welcome flow isn't top performing flow, but in this case, that was true. So, we doubled down once again on what worked well. And in their case, it was just customer thank you flow. So we have added more emails to the post-purchase flow using the strategy here. So winning campaigns being added to post-purchase flow, but then we also added even more post-purchase flows because our customer thank you flow was targeting people for like the first 15 to 20 days, I believe, after they made the purchase. So then we went a little bit more aggressive with the replenishment flow, where it was triggered like around 25-30 days after the purchase. So they had a few days of break after the customer thank you flow, and then we started hitting them with the replenishment flow. And we also added first purchase anniversary flow, which is a pretty cool way to remind customers about your brand. You're not being like, super pushy. It's like, hey, we're celebrating, it's been our first year, that's great. If you need to restock or if you want new colors, in this case was mainly like, it was in a car niche. So, whenever people need a new color for their car, we also could angle it around it like, hey, you had this color on your car for over a year. Let's maybe change it. Let's spice things up if you want to check out our new colors. And that was pretty much it. Then we've launched A/B tests for key pre-purchase flows. So we've already had some tests for pre-purchase flows because whenever we launch new flows, which once again was the case for this brand in April, we set them up with A/B test for time delays. So we test short time delay versus long time delay. For example, for abandoned cart, we have two different paths. First one is being 30 minutes, second one 2 hours, and that's how we test. These were already finished. So we've once again took the data, analyzed, published the winning variation, and then we have launched new A/B tests, which were subject lines. Now, you might think this is random, but it's not, okay? So you remember at the beginning I said that the open rate is decent, it could be better. That's why we launched subject lines A/B test to make sure that this number is higher. And we're going towards 50%. As you can see, like even it says right here that we started right here at like 45%. It's been pretty standard at around like 50%. We had some spikes, but in general, if you look at this line, it's trending up. Obviously, there are some worse days. Usually these were weekends, since the customer base for this brand was mainly active Monday through Friday. So weekends were a little bit off, and then it was picking up again. But I mean, towards the end of the month, we even had one day with 60% open rate, which is a huge improvement starting off from 45. And once again, that's why we launched these tests for subject lines. And as you can see, it works, because if you have like 6 email specific flow and each one increases the open rate by like few percent, it's really gonna compound and give you like a snowball effect. You're gonna get way more eyeballs on your emails. That's why it worked so well. As I said before, ignore click rate. It's really hard for us to tell how is it doing actually. That's why we also focused on just improving subject lines, because at the time these weren't inflated, open rates, so we could easily track it. Now, as you remember, I said that their top flow was post-purchase flow, which has done 110K in sales in just 1 month. And if you want to check out what was the exact flow that we used, you can watch my video, which is gonna show up on the screen. Again, this is the exact breakdown of the flow that we used. So if you're interested, check it out. You're not gonna be disappointed. Now here's like the growth, as I mentioned. April was like a warm-up for us, where we launched everything. And in May, we just, optimized things like open rates, also added more emails to flows, and that's why we're able to get them. Right here it was like around 170K, and this month it was over 200, so roughly 35K more in revenue from flows in just 1 month, which is pretty decent improvement, obviously. Now for the campaigns, as you can see, here's the screenshot for some of the top performing ones. Obviously these click rates are inflated, which I told you before, but placed order rates are not inflated because it was not a subscription based brand. So anytime someone made a purchase, they had to actually click to make a purchase, rather than just feeding off the recurring revenue sales showing up here. These were actual people making sales. So top campaign, 21K almost in sales, pretty decent. And we added this one to the post-purchase flow, I believe it was, and this one was, I think, post-purchase as well. I think this one was for non-buyers, something like that. But in general, we had multiple campaigns, singular campaigns that have done more than 10K in sales, which is pretty decent. And you can also probably see that their list isn't that huge, but they're very, very engaged, very high quality subscribers, and that's why we're also able to get results like these. From May 18, once again, the click rates were inflated. So as you can tell, any campaign after that we sent after May 18th, it had way higher click rates than in reality, but still had some campaigns with 6.3% click rate, 2.5, 3.7. And once again, like part of that was us having very good emails, but the other part is having very good product and very good quality of the list. So that's just something I wanted to say, because a lot of people just saw the screenshot like, hey, we're so cool and so amazing, but a big part of all of that actually is having good product, good branding, and high quality list. But obviously our emails also do well, so that's why we have generated so much revenue from them. Now, the main goal for campaigns was increasing the frequency, since we have started up very slowly because we wanted to warm up the domain properly. We didn't want to risk our domain reputation, so we have warmed it up, and then the goal was to start sending 3 to 4 per week, which we have obviously achieved. We started expanding the segments from like engaged to then hitting buyers and non-buyers separately. And this allowed us to create more personalized content and in general just convert more people, since it was more personalized. I mean, as simple as that. You can see here the screenshot of campaign performance. The recipients number went up by over 200%, which once again is the result of us expanding these segments. Open rate didn't take a hit, which is also great because we then know that deliverability is good. It even went up by a little bit, so that's even better. Click rates, unfortunately, we need to ignore. Placed order rate went down, but percentage-wise, it's still very good. And I mean, even ignoring the Klaviyo suggestions, it's still very good place order rate for campaigns. And it makes sense that it went down, since if we increase the campaign recipients by over 200%, then placed order rate can't stay at the same level. I mean, it would be great if it did, but it's just not really possible. So it dropping 25%, it's still not a big deal, especially that campaign revenue went from 45k to 113k. So we almost tripled their campaign revenue in just 1 month by expanding segments and sending more personalized content. And we weren't really complicating things. We were just monitoring open rates. If we saw they are good, we started expanding the segments and so on and so on. Then we started separating buyers from non-buyers, hitting them with different angles. For buyers, it was mainly cross-selling things, since the brand had great cross-sells that we could just push to those people. So that's what we've done. And for non-buyers, multiple angles, like FAQs, like Mythbusters, like showing reviews, maybe suggesting some of the colors or best-selling colors whatsoever. A lot of angles that were great. And one more important thing is that we didn't send a single campaign that was giving out any discount for this brand. Obviously in the welcome flow we do have a discount code, which is only 5% off, by the way, so it's not huge as well. But for the campaigns, we didn't send a single campaign with a discount code whatsoever, which is also great because it's not like we're just, stealing the margin from this brand. We're actually adding revenue, which is profitable because we're not giving away discounts. So that's why, once again, as I said at the beginning, they were able to maintain the revenue level, but profitability went up, which is just great. Now, if you're wondering what is our plan for the next month or months with this brand to come, this is just to test more angles, keep expanding the audiences further and further so that we can target the entire list at once, and doubling down what works well, right? So if we see post-purchase flow doing well, we might still add even more emails to that, since we know it's already doing pretty okay. So this is really the plan, and all of this, we're making all of this to make sure that our Q4 and the Black Friday and Cyber Monday are going to be perfect. Because now is the time to optimize it. A lot of brands think about Black Friday in October, where it's too late. Like, you have 1 month to optimize things, and trust me, you're not gonna test a bunch of them. Especially if you look, for example, at a brand like this, which is high AOV, we're getting only 17k people into the flows, like all of our flows per month. So for you to test a lot of stuff, it would really take you a lot of time just because you don't have enough data, right? Like, it's 17k spread across multiple flows. So if you want to test them one by one, it will take us a little bit more time than usual. I assume around month, maybe month and a half. And that's why you need to start optimizing things and thinking about Q4 right now. Right now is July, so Q3 has already started, and you need to already start optimizing and thinking about your backend, because otherwise things are gonna break, and you just won't be as successful and profitable in Q4 as you would like to. And if you're looking for trusted retention experts that will actually maximize your email revenue and help you profitably scale month over month, you can book a call with me using the link in the video description down below. It's gonna be a call with me, we're just gonna have a chat. I'm gonna show you a few of our strategies, how we can help you, and if we decide we're a good fit for each other, maybe we can start working together. Once again, the call is completely free. I'm gonna be very happy to do free Klaviyo audit for you, just to pinpoint some of the opportunities. And that's it, just to make sure that you're crushing the upcoming Q4. And that's it for this video. If you're interested in my other case studies, you can watch this video where I show you how this brand made over $1 million in just 5 months. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Cheers!